Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your August 2017 mid-month readings. I know I am getting the last few of these out probably a day or two later than I normally do. I just got back from a surprise kind of birthday trip, a whirlwind trip, 8 or 9 days through Morocco, and I couldn't really post anything while I was gone. One, because I had promised not to work, and two, I couldn't really get internet connection throughout most of that part of Africa, and even in some of these interesting little hotels I stayed at, which said I had internet access, I couldn't really do anything on the internet. So it was a marvelous trip anyway, altogether, though I've never quite experienced heat like that in my life. But fabulous trip. I am happy to be back in Poland, where it feels much cooler here, even though it's a bit muggy today. And kind of thinking a little bit about Northern California, though I hear it's been a bit hot there as well. Anyway, thank you always for your likes, shares, subscribes, all your support and feedback and comments. Keep them coming. To those of you who continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings, and to my regular clients, thank you. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the About or Description button, which will give you a little more detail, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of types of readings, and I read full-time 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So scheduling is pretty flexible for live readings. I do recorded readings as well. And turnaround time is anywhere from a few days upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time we can schedule something for you. So if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. Check your rising and your moon sign videos as well, because as you know, this is a general reading. And there's many of you watching, so it may not resonate to the same degree and intensity in the same areas of your life. For some of you, it may resonate in one area of your life. For others, it may resonate more predictably in other areas of your life. And just by watching your rising and your moon sign, they may play out a little more predictably for you than your sun sign at this time, or they just may give you additional bits of insight and clarity into what's going on in your life. Try to watch all three if you know them and if you can. We are looking at the last couple of weeks of August, so I will be pulling 2 cards for each of the remaining 2 weeks, with an additional 5th card from the bottom of the deck for overall energy and guidance. Business as usual. So this reading is for the Earth sign of Capricorn, and I would like to dedicate this reading to Zeta, in honor of her beauty, courage, and strength. Okay, Capricorn, we have the 5 of Pentacles, followed by the Fool, and the World, followed by the 4 of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck for overall guidance and advice, we have the 2 of Wands. So Capricorn, I feel like you're holding on to something that isn't serving you, which is a kind of a nebular statement to make, but I actually feel like you're holding on to something that's leaving you wanting. For some of you, this is going to be in the job, career aspect of your life. For others, this is going to be in the relationship aspect of your life. And I really feel like I feel like you're just in something that's perhaps not making you terribly unhappy, but there's a sense of not being completely satisfied, or of not being fed, kind of is what I'm getting. And that it's time to kind of consider what you want long-term down the road and how much you value what you want and your place in it. We have the 5 of Pentacles, followed by the Fool. Now, the 5 of Pentacles is earth energy. That's the element which governs Pentacles, and it's often a tangible sort of energy, manifests often in the tangible area of our life: money, finances, job, resources, property. You can also apply the same energy to love and relationships, spirituality, tangible results of things we put our efforts into. The Five of Pentacles is a card of insufficiency and lack. For some of you in job and career, this could represent being in a job that you don't feel is you're not making sufficient enough money, or you may have been fired or downsized recently. It can represent financial insufficiency and lack, or the fear of financial insufficiency and lack. On an emotional or spiritual level, it can represent feeling abandoned, rejected, left out in the cold, shut out of a group. But as in a lot of the cards in tarot that shows an aspect of something unpleasant or negative, or it's typically an over tendency to dwell on that without noticing that there may be something, or that there often is something nearby to us that could help us, or that could provide a solution, a way out, resources, answers, but we're often not seeing it because we're only focused on, as we tend to sometimes do, the negative aspects, or there are fears and anxieties more than anything else. You can see this couple is standing outside of this church or cathedral. They appear to be in need. In other tarot decks, they are sometimes represented as being out in the cold or the rain. They may be, they're either homeless or in need of something. It can represent being in that kind of physical, tangible need. In relationships too, because I feel like for a lot of you, and I'm actually getting some spiritual messages here, or religious, some of you may be going through, or someone who's watching this and needs to hear this, may be in a religion or following a particular sort of spiritual path or religious path, whether it's because it's tradition, or it's something you were raised in, or it's something that you've just been in for a long time, and you're not feeling, and there's some sense of wanting, of feeling like it's not for you, or not feeling a connection to it. It's almost as if some of you may be going through a bit of a spiritual, crisis or questioning period in your time, in your life right now, and you're wondering, I don't feel connected to this isn't spiritually fulfilling for me. What do I do? Where do I go? But feeling kind of almost obligated to stay in it because either you've been in it for a while, or tradition, or family and friends, that's kind of where your base is, and you're afraid to step outside of that because you're afraid that you may be, shunned for it, or shamed for it, or receive a lot of negative backlash for it. That's interesting. Very specific message for somebody out there who needs to hear it. Always at the end of the day, even though it's easier said than done, remain true to yourself. If you're in something and it's emptiness for you, it's leaving you feeling empty, you may want to explore that it may not be the right thing for you. Some of you, this could represent a relationship that has you feeling kind of always a little dissatisfied, perhaps wanting, that is insufficient, that you feel like you're never quite good enough, or you're never quite getting exactly what you want from the relationship or from your relationship partner. Some of you, this could be job, work, and career. I mean, it's a general reading, so for some of you, it's going to resonate in one area of your life. For some of you others, it could be job and career. You've been kind of going along, putting one foot in front of the other, earning your paycheck, but you're just not, it's either not sufficient, or you're just not feeling kind of connected to it. I'm getting that some of you, or someone has actually gone through something at your workplace where you made a stand for something, or you voiced an opinion which was in opposition to your boss or a group of people, and it's almost as if in sort of an immature, childish way, you're being kind of, it almost feels like you're being shut out of a group that you belonged to before, but in a workplace environment, which is interesting. But it feels like it's it's a situation or workplace environment that you were kind of riding the edge of satisfaction, dissatisfaction anyway. And this may be the thing that kind of pushes you over the edge into considering leaving and doing something new, maybe looking for a new job, starting a new career path. It's definitely time to kind of maybe take a risk, step off the beaten path, try something new, time for new beginnings, contemplating new beginnings. So that Five of Pentacles is accompanied by the Fool. my favorite card in the tarot. The Fool is all about new beginnings. The Fool is actually about the potential of new beginnings, the potential of opportunities which may lay in front of you, ones that you may know about and ones that you may think of going out and just grabbing for yourself. The Fool is about kind of that space and time in between something ending and something new beginning, where you're considering what your options are. You're considering what the potential and possibilities are. It is infinite. At the same time, it is limited in this small space. It's the breath before the first step of a new journey. And the Fool is also here to remind us that the true joy and value and lessons we learn in life are most often on the path, on the destination, not in reaching our goal, not in reaching our destination, although it's always good and right and practical and wise to have goals and to work towards those goals. The Fool is more about the carpe diem of it, the learning, the growing, the evolving, the transition, the metamorphosis that happens for us in our growth along that path of life. And he's also here to remind us that sometimes nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you want something different, if you want something bigger than what you're in right now, whether that's job and career, whether that's on your spiritual path, whether that's in a relationship, sometimes you have to take a risk, do something different, try something you've always wanted to try, maybe something that feels a little bit risky to you in order to achieve different results, because it feels like, regardless of whether this is a relationship, job, spiritual path, it's insufficient for you. It's leaving you in need. It's leaving you wanting somehow. It feels more of a contemplative energy over the next couple weeks. I'm not getting that anybody's going to go out and spontaneously do anything just quite yet. In fact, it's kind of just all about where you're at, what you've invested in it. But really, it's about looking down the road, your overall energy being that Two of Wands, which is about looking down the road at what you want long term, rather than just being satisfied with what you get right now or what crumbs you can get off a table right now. It's more about, what do you really want to be fulfilled down the road? Thinking about that and making decisions and taking action that's going to orient you towards that and move you closer to that, rather than compromising for a lot less than what really makes you feel happy and fulfilled just because it fills a need or fills an empty space right now. We come to the end of the month around that time being fluid, as I always say, with the World, followed by the Four of Pentacles. And again, I'm feeling this is more contemplative energy, although for some of you, you may have made a decision about what to do about this particular situation by the end of the month. There's a sense of contemplation with the World. It's a card of completion. It's a card of kind of coming to a crossroads or reaching a milestone, kind of reaching the top of a mountain that you've been climbing for quite some time. It's not the first mountain you've climbed. It's not the last mountain you'll climb, because life is full of mountains. They're learning, they're challenges. But this mountain has had some particular significance. This job, this relationship, this spiritual path, the place that you're in right now, it has some significance. And the World card is about acknowledging everything that you've done on the path, acknowledging everything that you've put in it, everything that it took to get you from where you started to now, what you've been capable of that perhaps you didn't think you were capable of, and what you might yet be capable of now, in considering what lies in front of you. What do I do now? What do I really want? What's really going to make me happy and feel fulfilling to me, that I'm going to really connect with. The World card is also a card of coming to a culmination of something, reaching a pinnacle, and taking time to kind of embrace everything that you did to get there, even if there's still a ways for you to go, even if there's another mountain, even if you've set different goals for yourself. You're wrapping up a certain portion of your life, but don't discredit yourself, even if you've reached a point where the path that you've been walking is no longer serving you. It took a lot for you to walk that path, and acknowledge that and embrace that. It's a card of self-love and self-empowerment and self-acceptance as well, of acknowledging your strength and your value as a human being, and considering what lies in front of you and what you truly want in the next portion of your life, because it does feel like Spirit is encouraging you to kind of take a look at that. And if you're not truly happy, which is what they really want for you, then where does that path lie and how do you get to it? The World is paired with the Four of Pentacles, which can be a card of holding on, sometimes holding on too tightly, particularly if you've lost in the past before. It can be a card of being kind of guarded, protective, shut down. It can also represent stability. It can also represent stagnation. And I'm feeling like it's more the latter for the majority, if not all of you. But there's a sense There's a sense of wanting to start something new, wanting to do something new, wanting to have something new, wanting to feel that sense of excitement and passion and connectiveness to the path that you're on, to the job that you're in, to the relationship that you're in, to the spiritual path that you're on. But there's also a sense of being afraid to let go in order to do that, because you have to let go in order to do that, in order to, in order to make that leap, in order to step off that cliff, you have to let go. You have to actually make that. And there's a sense still of even though where you're at may not be satisfying or fulfilling, it's what you know and it is familiar. And Spirit is saying, take some time to acknowledge that, take some time to think about it, but also consider what may lie in front of you. Consider what you really want long term, because your overall card, your crowning card from the bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands, fire energy here. Which is the element which governs the suit of wand, and it's fiery energy. This is creative, passionate, manifesting energy. This is about building and growing and moving forward and change and energy. It's very dynamic and fluid. The Two of Wands is about being at a crossroads, which it feels like a lot of you are in some section of your life. And the key to choosing the right path is in long-term thinking and planning, not just in filling the space now and filling the gap now and doing what needs to be done now. What do I really want? If this is in the relationship area of your life, what do I really want long-term? Where do I want to be in my relationship, or in a relationship a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What kind of a relationship do I want? What kind of a person do I want to have it with? And orient yourself and make decisions and take action steps that push you towards that, and don't invest in anything that doesn't propel you closer to that goal. If you want to get married, you don't start dating in someone or invest in a relationship with someone who doesn't also potentially want to explore that as an option for their life as well. Same with job and career, spiritual path. The key to really knowing what to do here, Capricorn, is in long-term thinking and planning. What is your ultimate goal? What do you really want? What's your big picture dream goal? And you must make your choices, your decisions, your actions, anything you set in motion, everything that you do propel you closer and closer towards that goal. Otherwise, it's a waste of time and effort, and it's an investment in something that's not going to truly make you feel happy and fulfilled. So it feels like the last half of August is more contemplative, although some of you may be making some moves and making some definitive changes at or towards the end of August, going into September a little bit. The rest of you, it's more just kind of thinking about where you're at, not jumping into anything else headlong, kind of thinking this out first in terms of where you want to actually be down the road, and making your decisions and choices fit and orient you towards that. So Capricorn, that pretty much wraps up your August 2017 mid-month reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, that it's brought you a little bit of helpful insight, food for thought, or perhaps validation of what you've already been thinking anyway in regards to how this is resonating in your life. Thank you very much for watching it. And again, if any of you are interested in any personal one-on-one reading with me, just go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click that little about or description button. If you don't already have my contact information, you'll find some more information on my email address there, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the September general readings. And until then, Capricorn, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.